Alright, what's going on guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the gear crafter that is in Wallaroo. Before, this gear crafter did already exist, but it didn't have anything. You weren't able to access it or anything like that. And you can see on the map, it's here, right? You can barely see it right here. Before, the icons didn't exist, but as test run progressed, we slowly got improvements, and this is what's going to look like when it comes to live round. But this gear crafter here, oh my gosh, I can't believe they actually did this, right? Like, we have been asking for this for like a couple months now, ever since like Novus came out, right? And that is a pity system for reagent or for jewels. We literally were asking for this. Like, this to me honestly saves Wallaroo. The issue was that we didn't have hat row boots wand, and there was nothing too much. Like, for me as a player, I'm like, okay, I can go grind out the other stuff. Well, now I can't go grind out the other half of the stuff. So what am I supposed to do after I grind out all the, amulets, themes, rings, decks, right? What am I going to do after that, right? But this like saves it for me, because now I can go back and go farm pins and go get the ones that I need. Now these show you whatever the ones that are for your school. So if I'm on another school, like my death or whatever, it would show what are my pins for my death. So it only shows stuff for your school, other than these, I believe, like the punishing pins and stuff like that. These just show automatically for every school, so you can, redeem it right off the rip, do whatever. I think they didn't want to do it for the shield pins because there's like a lot technically, so they just didn't want to do that. And then as well, there's power pins too in that regard as well. So there is accurate pins, there is conserve pins, you can get those. I wouldn't recommend it. I will tell you this right now, do not buy these. Do not buy these. These are stupid easy to farm from Maxine, and they always will be, right? And you're only going to need accuracy pins. If you're really lazy on farming, sure, I mean, you can get some of this dream water. From what I've seen is players have been saying this drops from bosses, and you get roughly like 3 or something like that every time, which is a good thing. So after 4 fights, you can just pick and choose what pin you want. Like, what more are you guys asking for, right? I think that's a banger change. Leave it as this. Do not raise the prices, do not adjust the prices or anything like that. 12 is a good amount. I don't want to see them change it to like 15 or 18 or something like that. I think this to me is perfect. It makes dual schooling more accessible, especially for people who want to dual school in the raid, people who want to dual school in PvP, or just in general. It makes it so much more easier. So this has just been a positive change all around. I will not be like, okay, I guess the only thing is like in my mind is, can I transfer this dream water? If I can transfer this dream water, I'm chilling. I can just pick and choose whatever I want on my characters. Now, if it's stuck on my characters, similar to like the shards or the Shabalba shards or whatever, we're gonna have like it's still kind of annoying, but at least I can still like, go get what pins I need for my character. It just requires me to do farming on every single character now because it's locked behind that. But I don't think that might be the case or not. Then they even tossed in this. To me, this baffles me. This is such a random thing that they decided to just toss in here. You can get 5% fishing jewels. I don't know why. They tossed in mana. And they just tossed in fishing. I'm surprised they didn't toss in energy. They should have tossed in energy 100%. I think what they should do is toss in the energy as well in here. So it's not locked behind packs. You might, if you're already tossing in fishing in here, you might as well toss in the energy ones as well. I don't think anyone would complain in that regard. So I'd say highly recommend KI. If you see this video, please toss in energy as well. Might as well, right? You're already tossing in fishing, but still good change. And then of course the 155 health opals are not going to be in here because they're not going to be making improvements on them. It would have been nice if they were in here just so I can redeem them, right? Just because it would be nice to just use them on my regular setups, because I don't know what else I would use for tier socket. I'm not going to socket on mana. I think it's still a good option just to have the 155 health opals here. I know they're not getting increased, but still, at least having them here, letting me buying them with 3 agents would be a nice fit. I think that would be like my only gripe when it comes to like the tier sockets. Circle sockets, you can redeem Pierce for any school, so you can just redeem it, transfer it over. Perfect. In my opinion, I wouldn't recommend buying this, the Pierce ones at least. due to the fact that there's so many places where you can farm Pierce Jewels, and players do it all the time. Even I do it all the time. I go do Thieves Den, I do other spots as well, some bosses as well. While farming for pins, we're dropping Pierce Jewels, so it's like, hey, I wouldn't recommend it, but like I said, if it's like a last resort and you're like, dude, I don't have time for farming, etc., go for it. But don't treat this as a priority. I think the pins are more of a priority than the Pierce Jewels. And then now there is school specific jewels. So the crit is school specific, and the damage for off schooling is school specific as well, of course, this stuff. But now you have to go farm this on all your characters. So if you want to dual school, you got to go farm these or just redeem them from here. And then of course you can only see your schools. So if I want to see like whatever my ice, like if I'm on my ice and I want to get crit pins, whatever, damage pins, I have to go get them on my other character, redeem them, whatever, and have crafting done. And it says right here, you have to have Freddy Player 1. Don't know what that means. I know that's a badge. Don't know how many kills that is. Players probably already know, so don't quote me on this. But yeah, it's kind of cool that you can just, you know, go here and just get whatever. Same thing with the accuracy. I wouldn't recommend this, of course. The reason being is, if we quickly go over here, there is a vendor on this side where they're literally selling 15%, and you don't need the 16% in anything. Of course, if you just want to be a min-maxer and be like, okay, well, I want the extra 1%, even though it won't matter, I'll take the 1% just so I can, you know, tank mantles or something like that, then sure, go. If you want to redeem them from here, go for it. But like I said, they're pretty easy to farm. 16% are pretty easy to farm. I wouldn't trip on about it. But 15% are literally right there, so don't waste dream water. I highly recommend that you do not. Same thing as pip opals. Everyone knows that you can get pip opals from the Mirage Gulchers. People farm Mirage Gulchers for couch potatoes anyways. You probably have a lot anyways. Do not buy this. Do not. Save your dream water. Be actually consider and get it towards the things that you want. And then as well, you have Arch Mastery Jewels. This, I'm kind of like very niche when it comes to PvE, because like there hasn't been a scenario where I'm like, okay, you really need high Arch Mastery or whatever. So I wouldn't recommend that as well. And then Pip Conserve. You don't need Pip Conserve or Shad Rating in PvE. PvP, of course, you have your own takes. Take it however you want. But PvE, you do not need any of these as well. So don't even waste your time on triangle sockets at all. That's my gripe. And then square sockets, I think the health ones, these are honestly reasonable to buy. The outgoing, reasonable to buy. And then the block, not really. I think the health and the outgoing for whatever school you are, of course not. These are just going to be super good whenever they do come to live realm. This is going to be good for decathlon as well, because you can socket these onto decathlon decks and you can have another 600 HP in decathlon. So it makes doing that so much more easier, and players will be happy when it comes to that regard. But yes, these two are understandable. Blocking, no-go. And then triangle, nothing's a no-go, not worth your time. Circle sockets, pierce, if you're lazy to farm, I can get it, but that's about it. And then the damage ones I get as well, because, you know, you want to have min-max damage. Understandable in that regard. This is very niche. If, like I said, if you want to make a fishing setup, cool. You have this, you're very lucky to have this, because now you don't have to spam weapon packs. Really think they should put energy jewels? We'll see when that comes. Even like a 3 or 4, I think that would be fine if they just toss into here. If they don't want to put in 5s, at least put 3 and 4s. And like I said with the health, they should put 155s in here. Even if they're not increasing the stat, they should still put it here just for PvE players. Same thing for the square sockets. They should put flat damage in here. I know that they're not going to be increasing the stat. I know it's not going to be used in advanced combat or PvP, but in regular PvE, I know you're not going to be increasing the stat, but I still think it'll be nice just for players if they want to buy that. There's no harm given. It's okay for not increasing the stat, but let us be able to buy those things and it's accessible to us. Power pins, like I said, same thing as the, what's it called, triangle socket or the circle sockets. If you need them, sure. Would I recommend it? No, just go farm them. These are way easier to get. Shields, I can 100% understand, because, you know, if you're trying to do PvP, do PvE, and you don't want to do Bowser, because, you know, of course we don't know who drops what pins at the moment in Wallaroo, and depending on that, I might give you a definitive answer. But if we're going based upon prior experience, I can understand how annoying Bowser is, and you trying to target exactly what you want is very annoying. So I highly recommend that, you know, you can do these, you can do the shield pins, you can do the mending pins, of course, if you are life, fire, I believe storm, and I think balance. So you're chilling when it comes to these. you're more welcome to buy those if you didn't farm these from Bowser already. So kind of just saves you time. You know, when I mean Bowser, I mean Design Duelist. You get the reference. But yes, if you didn't farm those, then I would recommend getting these if you don't want to waste time over there, of course. And then sword pins, always, I'm not even going to say no to these. I highly recommend you waste your water more on these than anything else. But of course, if you're not doing dual schooling, you're not doing raids, then everything else is more of a priority, like the resist, of course the damage, and then the health, if you're not doing dual schooling. But I think dual schooling is more of a priority just because of raids and certain advanced combats that are in Wallaroo, because I highly recommend that you do dual schooling in the Freddy fight. I highly recommend that you do dual schooling in another fight as well, I believe. So dual schooling is viable in PvE at the moment, and I'm not saying that as a joke, but I mean literally it is viable in certain scenarios, because you can ignore dispels that are like chromatic, you can ignore shields that are chromatic, and this is what there seems like they're doing now, so it's useful, not even gonna lie about that. So the pity system, great, some changes that need to be made, but we'll see if those actually make it into at all. And then there is a pity system as well for these. So treat the Reaver as like Aeon and treat the Stalker as Eternal. So if you have an extra, you know, Reaver piece, you can turn it into Stalker. Similar gripe when it became to the other things as well for Aeon. Now, when it comes to the actual pieces, it's only 1 damage increase, but you do have access to a square socket. So if you want more health instead of the triangle socket, and you do overall get a little bit more health and block. So if you care about that 1 damage, you can definitely go farm these, but I wouldn't recommend using your stones and, you know, dream water is from bosses. Stones are the reagents that are just roaming around, and you can just see them on the floor. I'm pretty sure, you know, if I get time, I might make like a loot map of how to do it properly, but I think just pay attention to the dream water. You can get these pieces if you want for PvP, but I'm pretty sure these will affect some max stats as well. But we'll just have to see what this whole set looks like. And overall, I think these are some good pieces. They didn't change much on these cards, and the stats look kind of the same from what it seems like, but they did change the jewels, which I am very happy about. And then, yeah, like I said, you guys can get all these pieces if you want to as well. When it comes to decks, the circle sockets are always going to be nice. I'm not even going to lie. Circle sockets are always going to be nice. But we'll have to see who drops them and how hard it is and what the rates are. But I think the main part of this, the main consensual thing that we can all talk about is the jewels. Just having a pity system in this game for jewels saves the Wallaroo update for me as a whole. Because now players can't complain about drop rates, whatever, targeting what pin you want. This is legit something I wanted, and I know a lot of the player base wanted. So I think overall, props to KI for doing something like this. I know they've been getting a lot of backlash for these past couple of like patches and saying stuff is too hard, you know, etc. Or they're destroying PvP, they're destroying all this other stuff. But this, to me, it's fine. I'll have this over, like, I'll rather have this and wait like a couple months to get a nightmare dungeon to farm the Hat Robe like Boots Wand, because then I'll have access to all these pins. I'm already set. Like, I will literally go farm all my pins now and not have to worry about it. I don't mind having 6 pins for everything and not have to worry about it, you know? So, amazing. Just overall amazing. But that is it for this video, guys. Definitely, if you want to see Bingo in Test Realm, definitely go over here in Hope Springs. I think you have today and tomorrow, so if you want to check it out and, you know, give your guys' opinions on it, let me know. And then also let me know your guys' opinions in the comments below. Are you guys glad we finally have a pity system for pins, jewels, etc.? You can make your fishing builds, you know. So you have access to all that. You have access to the pins as well for raids, advanced combat, and of course PvP, which players do quite a ton of. So overall, I think it's okay. Update was saved because of that. 100%. No doubt without it. That is what saved it for me. 100%. But that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.